approve of school, even though we only have like 4 weeks left. Isn't that crazy? I don't know if we're going to completely finish the book, but we're going to get pretty close, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so today you're going to use Algebra 2 to answer the important questions in life, which is how many combinations of Chipotle do we have? And this actually does have application, very, very important. That's why you all woke up this morning, right? Okay, so there is a cup at Chipotle, and this is from a little bit ago. And the back of the cup says this: there are 60-some thousand flavor combinations at Chipotle. All right, so this is their claim that they have over 60-some thousand different flavors at Chipotle. So if we could prove this wrong, oh, and it says it down here, I knew it was 60,000 combinations, right? If we could prove this wrong, maybe we could all like get free Chipotle for a year or something like that. That would be pretty cool, right? If you like Chipotle, if you don't, yeah. Now, this is from a little bit ago, so 2003. So back then, I think there were less choices on the menu, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to use all of this material that we've learned in chapter 10, not chapter 9, and we're going to figure out, is this true or not? And I need you guys actually to participate. So if today is the day, either the chat is going to be really chatty, or if you feel like hooking up your headset today would be the day to do it, because we're just going to kind of talk through this problem. And at the end, for half of your test grade, what I want you to do is either just send me like a quick email or write down, what do you think? Okay. All right, so what do we have to do to be able to see if there's 60-some thousand combinations? What do we need to start with? Maybe we should start with the menu. What do you guys think? Well, look at that. I have the Chipotle menu right here, right? So the first thing that we have to kind of come up with, this is like a real, using math in a real life, it's not just this standard problem like, well, there's, ice cream and you can get strawberry, vanilla, or chocolate, and a cone or a cup. How many combinations are there? That is a good question, Daniel. So that's actually one of the ones we're going to have to wrestle with. Daniel said his main question is, what if someone only wanted cheese or just corn? Is that considered a combination? So before we even get started, see, it's going to be a good group discussion today. Before we even get started, let's actually talk about a simpler example. Okay, so let's say we go to a very basic ice cream shop. Okay, ice cream shop. This is my sad ice cream shop with no advertising. Ice cream shop. Okay, and we carry 3 flavors. We carry vanilla, we carry chocolate, and we carry strawberry. Okay, strawberry, if I can spell right. All right, so those are our 3 flavors, and you can either get them in a cup or a cone. So just to kind of warm our brains up, how many combinations of ice creams could we get at my awesome generic ice cream shop? Anybody remember how to even do that? Greta says 5. You're cool. 6. Yes, I like that better. 6. Oh, yeah. Mackenzie James got 6, right? So you can get vanilla in a cup or a cone, chocolate in a cup or a cone, and strawberry in a cup or a cone. And this is, it takes us back to 10-1, which is the basic counting principle, right? So we have 3 choices for our flavor of ice cream, and we have 2 choices for the vessel that it's coming in, right? So we multiply those together and get 6. So we were, let's see, we were really crazy and we added in here like sprinkles as a choice. So you could get sprinkles, or is a choice to get no sprinkles. Would we count that as a choice, right? I can't even, I'm marking up the page. So if we added in the choice of getting sprinkles, then we add another 2 choices in, and we would have 12 combinations, right? Elijah says, what about multiple scoops? Well, I don't know. Do you count that as another combination of flavors that you can get? Somebody says rainbow sprinkles, chocolate sprinkles, and no sprinkles. So that would give us, if we had choices, right? We would have 3 different choices, and then we would be up to 18 different combinations. Okay, so this is our kind of basic counting principle that we learned, right? Yeah, that's our basic counting principle, right? Any questions about that? So that's going to be important for today. The other principle that I want to review with you guys is our principle about permutations and computations. Yeah, soft serve, definitely, James. Okay, so let's also, we're skipping all over. It's all about food this morning. Hopefully you guys ate. So we talked about ice cream combinations. That was just to warm up on our counting principle, okay? Yeah, you guys are getting this. You could swirl it, all that. Just wait till we get to Chipotle. The menu is like crazy, right? So let's talk about a different example, okay? Let's talk about combinations. So let's do jelly beans. Okay, this is my late, that's my not so good attempt at drawing jelly beans. Thank you. These are Jelly Belly jelly beans. You guys have probably eaten some jelly beans, right? Easter. Jalapeno. Nope, these are my cheesy jelly beans. Okay. Yes. So we've got 5 jelly beans here. Let's say that they're Jelly Belly. So we got some crazy flavors going on, right? And they're not the Bean Boozled ones. They're just the regular kind. So we've got, like our red is our cinnamon and green is watermelon because that's the best Jelly Belly. And brown is like root beer, purple's grape, and yellow is lemon. Okay. Doesn't really matter, but just to make it more fun, right? So how many flavor combinations could we make with 5 jelly beans? So this is a little different than the last time. So for the ice cream, right, you have your choice of ice cream, and you have your choice of vessel. Do you want like a cup or a cone? And then you have your choice if you want sprinkles, if you want rainbow or chocolate or no sprinkles or whatever. Okay. But here we have 5 jelly beans. And how many flavor combinations could we make with 5 jelly beans? So Daniel's guessing 5 factorial. I like that guess, Daniel. 24. Elijah, yeah. So there's a couple ways we could do this. We can use that whole idea of permutations and combinations, right? So when we're talking about combining things together, does it matter if we mix, and I already forgot my flavors, if we mix together our red and our green, does it matter if we mix red and green and red? The order doesn't matter, right? So we're talking about combinations here, right? Combinations. Sorry, that was a P that became a B. Okay, so if you talk about just how many flavor combinations if you just take one jelly bean, right? How many different flavors are there if you just pick one? 5 different flavors, right? Yep. Yep. Okay. So that's just picking out one jelly bean, right? Then what if we pick 2 out of 5 of the flavors? So you could have red and green together, you could have red and yellow together, red and purple together, all that. How do we figure that out? Let's throw a little math in there. Do you remember our friend Mr. Combination? Where we say it's a combination of flavors, right? We're picking 2 out of 5 flavors. Does that ring a bell with anybody? Or it's in your brain somewhere and you're like, oh, oh yeah, that. So this just tells us if we have 5 flavors and we pick 2, and we don't care what order, right? We're saying that if you pick red and green and red, they're the same thing. That's why we're not using the permutations, because permutations we care what order, but we don't really care if you do red first, then green, then red, unless you're super duper picky. I don't know. Are you super picky about it? I think I just wrote that wrong. My brain's still on spring break. I'm thinking these should be flipped. I can't remember. My brain is still on spring break. I think it should be 5 and 2. Give me a moment, because my brain is on spring break for a moment. But I'm pretty sure that's right. And if you put that in your calculator, what do you get for the number of combinations of 2 jelly beans? And you might have been able to work this out without doing the fancy combination thing. Ten. James says 10. Did you use that using your calculator or your logic? Or both? Ten? Just okay. Cool. Sorry, I'm still trying to look this up. I don't know where my brain's at in my. Yeah, I had it wrong. So you put the number first of choices, and then the selection from those choices. So we would want 5 choices, and then there's 2 that we're picking out of it. Okay, so that's, if you calculate that, that's 10 combinations of 2 flavors, right? All right, so guess what we're going to do next? How many combinations of 3 flavors would that be? Actually, if you pull it up in Desmos, got all kinds of things up here. Desmos, our friend Desmos, right? And we use our functions. And we're doing combinations, right? So we do the number of total versus the ones that we're picking from. So we have 5 flavors and we are picking 2 of them. Okay, so sorry about that distraction. So what about 3? If we want 3 combinations of jelly beans, how many combinations of 3 of these are there? Well, instead of picking 2, we're going to pick 3, right? You guys still there? Mostly. All right. Are you okay with 10 combinations for 3 jelly beans? All right. So we have 10 combinations of that. Okay, good. It just got really quiet for a second. So we've got 5, combination 3, and that's 10. All right. What about how many ways can we pick 4 flavors? Does anybody have a guess? 5. I'm with you, James. We have 5 different ways. And Desmos should also show us that. 5 different ways, right? Losing my pen here. That's why I'm. There we go. And what about how many different ways can we do all 5 flavors? There's just one way, right? That you can get all 5 flavors. So if we add these together, 10, 20, 30, 31 flavor combinations with our 5 jelly beans. Some of them are going to be pretty disgusting, right? Some of them might taste delicious. I don't really know. Okay, so why am I talking about food today? Because it's math and food together, and how can that get any better, right? So we've talked about ice cream and using the number theory. We've talked about flavor combinations with jelly beans. So now here's where you guys get to lead me and tell me what you think. We're going to try to figure out how many combinations of Chipotle flavors are there. So if you go back to the original cup, right? If we go back to this cup here, if I can find it, they claim there's 60-some thousand flavor combinations at Chipotle. So we might actually want to figure this out a couple different ways, right? Because we could kind of use the picking method, because you kind of go in there and you pick, like, do I pick rice or brown rice or whatever? Do I pick beans or no beans? But we also kind of use combinations too, because you can pick more than one item within a menu. So I'm just going to put it out there now. There is no one right answer to this, just so you guys know. There's actually several websites that I can send you where people guessed their different, amounts of Chipotle combinations. So there's different thoughts out there about this. So let's see what we come up with. How does that sound? I propose that we ignore the kids menu when we're trying to figure this out. So we're going to ignore the kids menu because that's like a whole nother, I don't even know. Chocolate milk, oranges, who knows? Why? Would you count that as a flavor combination? Like, is having a kids menu that looks like this and instead of chocolate milk having white milk, would that be a different flavor combination? Yeah, and Elijah used to work at Chipotle, right? So you're like our expert. Oh, James says you can't count drinks as drinks as a flavor. I would agree with that, James. I vote with James. Who votes with James? And we're not going to count drinks in this either. All right, Ruben's with you, James, and Greta. All right. I think we almost have a class vote, right? All right, Mackenzie, that drinks are out. That doesn't count in flavor combinations. Okay, one decision made. I think we also decided we're going to just kind of skip over the kids menu too, right? So what do we need to do to kind of build this? I think we need to kind of start building, other than this, beautiful scrolling menu here. We need to start kind of building our choices, right? Has everybody been to Chipotle? By the way, I should have asked that first. Yeah, okay. I know you have, Greta. Everybody's been to Chipotle. All right, so what I think we should do is we should start building our choices, and then we should kind of see how we're going to do it, right? So what do you want to call the first thing? Like the first thing that they ask you when you go to Chipotle is, do you want a bowl or a burrito, or right? Is that what they ask you first? I don't know. I should ask Elijah. He's like the expert, right? I feel like they ask you like burrito or a bowl. Okay, so what are we going to call that? The first kind of choice is our shell. I'm going to put that loosely, right? All right, so yes, exactly, Elijah. So you could get a bowl, which means you don't get a wrap, right? Or you could get a burrito. You want to count the tacos under the shell category. Special people get tacos. So what do you think? Should the soft and hard tacos go under the shell category? Greta says yes. Who's with Greta? I agree. They're kind of like the shell with the vessel, right? And I didn't even know this. Yep. What's your foods put in? That's not what I was trying to do. This is newish, so you know. Apparently, they have crispy corn tacos, they have soft corn tacos, and they have soft flour tacos. Do we want to count all three of those? Because I didn't even know they had all three of those. Sure, why not? All right, so let's count crispy corn tacos. I know, so only two shells really, as in crispy and soft, go under shell. Yeah, but they're different, right? One is corn and one is flour. So if you have a gluten allergy, you can eat the soft corn tacos, but not the soft flour tacos. Okay. Any other vessel for your Chipotle that we want to include here? Our beautiful list. So apparently, I don't know any people that do this, but apparently last time I did this, there are some people that don't get well, I don't know. This was a debate last time. There's some people that get lettuce as their base, like it's a salad versus a bowl. Do we want to include the idea of getting lettuce as your like vessel, or do we want to call that just a bowl and then make that one of your choices? Just no. So do you see what I'm saying? Do we want to call it it's a bowl with no meat? I don't even know what that is, Elijah. Okay, so everybody's like no on the lettuce. All right, so we're good. We've got five. I like what James said. Five choices, right? Five starting choices. This is what you're starting with. Okay. So, what comes next? Put a little box around that. I don't even know what a quesarito is. Okay, so what do we think our next thing is? Oh, quesadilla. Cook it, unfold it. I'm learning all kinds of new things. That's really why I do this. What? It's like got to be part of the Chipotle secret menu or something. I don't know. Cheesy burrito. Okay, so what comes next? Let's pick, yeah, rice. Let's pick bowl. Let's see if we, oh, here we go. What's inside? Here we go. So you get the outside. They're basically, the way they have their menu laid out on here, right, is you get your first item, like your outside, and then you decide what you want to put inside. So they've actually kind of sectioned it out for you, but I'm with you, Greta. The first thing they ask you is white or brown rice, right? And you've also got black beans, pinto beans, and veggies. Okay, so let me just spend a little time writing these down. Now you guys have to decide. You know too much, Elijah. So that's the question. Let me see. So what Elijah's saying is that some people get more than one meat. Correct, Greta. They usually say white or brown rice, and then they say black or pinto. So let's just focus on this rice, black beans, veggies, okay? So we'll call this rice, beans, and veggie. That's what they call it. Your choices are brown rice, white rice, black beans, pinto beans, and fajita veggies. All right, so here's our next section. And we actually should have talked about this with our first section because I actually like the way James said this. So when we got done with this first section here, right, with the shell, when we really think about how many choices do you have for the shell, how many choices would you say that you have? I know I'm skipping a little bit, but we kind of should come full circle on this. Would you say we have just 5 different choices for the shell? Like you really can't order a bowl with corn tacos, right? The only kind of iffy part of this is I know you can order, well, I mean, you can order anything, right? But we just have to kind of decide what we want to do. I know people that order a bowl with the burrito wrap on the side. So the bowl really represents like a holding vessel. Like it basically, the bowl choice is no burrito wrap, right? Because it just means that you're getting something to hold either your lettuce or your rice or whatever. So quick class vote. What do we think? Do we think 5 combinations of like a shell holding item is reasonable? Or do you think we should count more? 5's good. James like, we're good with 5. Elijah says 7. Okay, Elijah, where's your 7 coming from? Oh, so you're saying, oh, you're onto the rice. Okay. So I'm thinking shell, right? So I think for shell, we'll say that there's 5 combinations of like holding vessel. That's not what I was trying to do. Okay, so I think we're okay with that. Yes, now when we get to rice, Now when we get to rice, how many combinations are there? So you could get white or brown rice, but you can also get, so really, I don't know if they should all be in one combination together, because if you pick brown rice, yeah. So really there's kind of like a subset of this, right? There is, if I write underneath here, let me make this bigger again. There is a choice for rice, so you can get brown, white, or no rice, right? Then you could get black beans, pinto beans, or no beans. Oh, or both. Do people get both beans? Excuse me. Can you get both rices? Oh, Greta says she's good. Okay. And then for fajita veggies, you used to get both rice and both beans. And two meats. Holy cow, that would be a big burrito. Or whatever. Okay, so for fajita veggies, I think the choices are just yes or no, right? All right, so fajita is just fajita yes or fajita no. Hopefully you guys understand my abbreviations here. All right, so here's the question. Greta just said, you can also get half rice or double rice. Do you think half rice or double rice affects a flavor combination? Nope. Okay, so you got mixed, Greta, sorry, on that one. Man, I don't know how we're going to factor in old or new rice. All right, so let's see here. How would we figure out just rice, beans, and veggies, right? There's 4 choices for, yeah, that's true. Okay, sorry. I was coughing. I didn't think you guys wanted to hear that over the mic. All right, so let's get back to rice, beans, and veggies. Yes, it might actually taste slightly different. So if you want to argue with me at the end, not argue, but your final answer on how many combinations you think there are. If you really, Greta, firmly believe that half the rice is another combination, then add that in. Okay, so if we go to rice, beans, and vegetables, we have basically 4 choices for rice: brown, white, no rice, both rices. We have black beans, pinto beans, no beans, or both beans, right? And we have fajita veggies or no fajita veggies. So if we multiply all those together by the counting principle, we have 32 different ways. Okay, we have 32 different ways. So far we have 5 ways to get a holding vessel, right? And 32 ways just for the rice, the beans, and the vegetables. We haven't even gotten to the meat yet. And so if we just went in Chipotle and they were out of all meat, and you guys didn't just leave immediately, and you just wanted to talk about combinations of shells or, burritos, whatever, and rice, beans, and vegetables, we're already up to how many combinations? 32 times 5, right? 160 combinations. And if you count half rice, then that's like double that, 320. We should have all went to see Elijah at Chipotle. All right, so let's keep going, right? I mean, this is important math that we're doing here. We got to get through this today. All right, so next up, shall we tackle meat? Now we do the meat. Okay, so let's go back to our little chart here. Let's make a meat choices. You know I'm going to have to copy off of here because I'm not going to be able to spell carnitas. I can spell steak though. I can't even pronounce a lot of these things because, you know. All right, come on. I just want to type in here. All right, so while I'm typing these choices out, you guys as a group are going to have to decide. There's 6 meat choices on the website. So at least there are 6 choices of meat and the choice of no meat, right? So that's at least, I'm arguing that's at least 7 choices for meat. Because 6, 6 regular choices and 1 choice of, vegetarian, no meat. But, and I don't know if they count the tofu under the meat. Yeah, they do. Sofritas is the tofu, right? So they have that in there. Yeah, I guess technically you could be vegetarian and get sofritos. But I guess you could also just say no what they consider a meaty part. So you guys discuss as I type. Are you going to count double meats as a different flavor combination? How many doubles are you going to count? How are you going to do that? That's up to you guys. I'm just the typer now. You guys are the experts. It just says yes. Somebody told me, let's see. Let's start with something. Do you think double meat, you would count that as a flavor combination? Like if you got double steak, would that be a different flavor combination, or are we throwing that out and we're just going with? Okay. I got a yes and a no for that one. And then I'm going to type on here, no meat. I like it, Greta. She's thinking out loud, right? 37 choices. I like this discussion. It's good. It'd be even better in person, but we do what we got to do. All right. Elijah, we did get the no choices on the last one. So here we have no rice, no beans, and no fajita. So we got that one covered. All right. So at a minimum, yeah, that's brown, white, no, both. Black beans, pinto beans, no beans, both beans. Fajitas, yes, and fajitas, no. Totally clear, right? So at a minimum, we agree that there's 7 choices for a meat. That's right. But I think everybody mostly agreed that you can get more than one meat. Are we going to cap it at a certain value? Like, are we going to say that you can only get 2 meat combinations? Or are we going to say that you could get, up to 6 meat combinations? What do you guys think? I mean, technically you could get all 6. That would be a really meaty whatever. It would cost a lot. I was just telling us a story, okay? He got a bowl, and it was steak and steak and more steak and steak. Yeah, so that would be another combination, right? You could just get double steak. We couldn't close the lid. Yikes. All right, so how are we going to count this? It's up to you guys. Double cream meat is, yeah, I mean, getting double meat isn't unheard of, right? You could get double, if you're really hungry, double chicken, double steak. Now, quadruple steak, I don't know about that. But does it change the flavor, James says? Quadruple duplex steak. I think it does. It's up to you guys. This is your flavor combination. So right now, let's keep it a little simple, right? Right now we're at 5 times 32 times 7, and that's before we even counted different combinations of meats. So if I do that, we're up to 1,120 combinations, and that's not including different meats, right? So I'm going to let you guys tell me what you think the ultimate number of meats is. That'll be kind of one of the ways you can tell me. You come back to me, all right? So you could tell me you think it's just 7. There's just 7 choices, the 6 meat choices, including tofu or no meat. Or you could come to me and say, no, I think I'm going to do, I'm going to, count all the different combinations. So if we wanted to find out how many combinations of meat there are, we could say that there are 6, like if you get 2 meats, right, there's 6 choices. And if you pick 2 meats, you would use the combination thing again, right? So I can't talk. Different number of ways to pick 2 meats out of 6 possible choices is 15. Okay, so do you think it is 7 plus 15 different choices for meats? Because realistically, most people either get 1 or 2 meats. You guys are all going with 37. Where did 37 come from? 37. I'm scrolling back up. Okay, each meat itself is 6. The total number of double meat combos is 30, and no meat is 1. Oh, so you're talking double meat, like, oh, I didn't even count the double steak and all that. Yeah, each meat times each meat, that would be 36. That's even more. Yep. So I'm going to leave that there because we're down to 9 minutes. So just so we get all of the data out there for you guys to argue with me, how many combinations do you think there are? So let's just say that it is 37. That's what your final kind of answer is, right? So how many are we up to? Yeah. Guys are gonna write me like a million combinations, done. All right, so if we're up to 5 times 32 times 37, we're at 5,920. So we're not quite at, we haven't quite reached 60-some thousand flavor combinations yet, though. I mean, 6,000 is a lot, but we haven't even got to this part of the menu. So we did our responsibly raised meat or organic tofu. We did our rice, beans, and veggies, and we've got top it off. This is where you can really get crazy, right? You've got salsa, cheese, guacamole, lettuce, sour cream, and you can mix salsas, right? So we have another column here where we've got our toppings, right? We've got, I'm just going to call it mild salsa, and chili, roasted corn, chili corn, roaster. We've got, now what do you guys think? Should I just do salsa as one set of things and then sour cream, lettuce, tomato, guacamole as another? Or should I continue, put that all in one? Yeah, it's just how you want to calculate it, right? So I'll just leave it all under toppings. Sour cream. We've got lettuce. What else we got down here? We've got guacamole. And we've got cheese. All right, so how many choices do we have there if we write this out this way? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But there's a lot that goes into this one, right? Because, like, for example, you could get all 4 salsas. You could get 1 salsa. You could get lettuce, no lettuce. I mean, you could get nothing in this group. I guess I should have put that as a choice. No, no toppings, right? Guac does cost extra. So I don't know. I mean, if we just went straight, we can't really go straight pick out of this, right? Because it's not a pick. Like, you don't choose, do I want salsa or sour cream? You choose, I want salsa and sour cream and lettuce and guacamole and cheese. So one way to think about this, kind of a simplistic way, would be that for salsa, there's 5 choices, right? This is a really simplistic view. So we could say for salsa, if I could just get my pen to work, this would be helpful. There we go. So for salsa, we could have, I feel like I'm saying that weird. We could have mild, red, green, corn, and none. No salsa. So there's 5 choices for salsa, right? For sour cream, you could just have yes or no. So there's 2 choices for that. Lettuce is another yes or no. Lettuce, if I can write right, is another yes or no choice. So there's 2 choices for lettuce. Guac is a yes or a no. And cheese is a yes or a no. Or there's extra, right? You could get extra cheese too. I'm just kidding. So if I just did a really, really simplistic calculation like this, I'm going to end up with 5 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So that's just 80. And that's not including any like combinations of salsas. There's so many combinations of salsas, right? That's like a problem all on its own. How many salsa combinations can you get at Chipotle? So if we just took the really super simplistic view, okay, and we did 5, 32, we'll do 37 and 80, okay? And that's kind of a simplistic view, right? What are we up to if we multiply those together? 5 times 32 times 37 times 80. We're up to 473,000. So that's way over 60 some thousand. Now, what if we even took like, let's go back to the 7 without the double meats. Let's take out the 37 and just go back to 7. What are we at? So if we take out the 7, if we take out this 37 and we use 7 instead, where we're just going with one meat, you're still at 89,600. So if you just kind of take the simplistic view of like, we're not going to count, right? Let me circle here the blue ones. We're on the green. We're going to just do the simplistic, you know, sour cream, yes or no. Salsa, pick one. Meat, pick one. Whatever. Then we're at almost 90,000 flavor combinations, right? So there's a whole nother, you know, we came up with double meats and salsa combinations are all out there. So is it safe to say that their cup is right? They may have estimated a little low, right? Yeah, the cup was in 2003, so that's true. I think they have 2 new meats, right? Sofritas and this one. So that kind of knocks it down a little bit. So I don't know. So your exit ticket, your chance to get 100% on 50% of your test grade. Oh, there you go, James calculated. Is a quick email to me or write it down really quick and attach it to your test. And with your argument, how many you think it is. And I can send this out to you guys if you want to, you know, if you want to keep diving into it and seeing how many more salsa combinations there are. I know it is exactly 10 o'clock, so I want to let you guys go. There is a website, so you'll notice that one of the people said they did it a completely different way. Where's it at? Oh, where'd it go? Here we go. So what they did is they just basically said there are 16 ingredients. So they just said, so what they did, Greta, is they counted, and we have more than that now. I think there's more ingredients if you count them up. Okay. But they said, we're going to count just ordering cheese as a possible combination. So they said, if there's, you know, let's count up how many we had. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 16. We have 24. So it's a little bit different from when they did the problem. But they basically added up, they counted if you just ordered a, you know, cup of guacamole, that would be one unique flavor combination. And so they added up all the combinations for 16 menu items, which we were at 24 menu items. So when they had 16 menu items, they got 65,000 flavor combinations. But that would just mean that like you could order just lettuce and that would count as a flavor combination. So I don't know. it's up to you guys. You can argue whatever way that you feel best. So like I said, I will send out this lovely sheet so you guys can have that as a reference. And either email me back what you think or write it on your test at the bottom what you think. You should be able to do number 8 on your test now. It should be way easier than this because it's about walking tacos at co-op, I believe. There's a lot less choices there. And number 8 again is kind of one of those things. As long as you're showing me why you think what you're thinking, it has some basis to it, you should be good. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Nope. Was this fun-ish for math? Now you guys can have great discussions with your parents about and family about Chipotle, right? Good deal. All right. Well, thanks guys for coming today. I hope you learned a little bit. Had a little bit of fun. I'll see you guys on Monday. Elijah, we never got to your question, so I don't know if I answered any of them or not. But after I get off with my Algebra 1 kids, I can hop back on if you need some help. Okay. Well, if you need some help, let me know and we can catch up. Sorry that we ran out of time. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Bye. Thanks for coming. Thanks, everybody, for getting on today. See you Monday.